FNR, Football Nation Radio.
Luciano's, no call! Score!
Salamini for Cole. Cole on the run. Shoots. 2-0.
Lazanovsky with the free kick. Launches a rocket! Trimboli, what vision! Blasts.
Yes!
That's it!
Miljevic.
Beautiful ball! Here's Bozanic. They might have won it!
The Pioneers with George Donikian and George Kokkinos on FNR, Football Nation Radio.
Oh, you know.
Here we go, guys.
No, 47.
I love it. The man you hear screaming in the background, 47, he thinks he's actually in one of those soap operas. And I don't know how to break it to him, but he's actually on Football Nation Radio with George Kokkinos. My name is George Donikian. I've had a fun hour with Jack Riley. Now I'm going to have an awful lot of fun with G2, who, by the way, many happy returns for yesterday.
Thank you.
Birthday again. You're what, 22 now?
22 plus 28, yeah.
Bravo. And our guest is another youngster. Came from a place called Constantinople, or as you would say it, Istanbul.
Don't point your finger. It makes for bad radio.
Yeah, but the pictures are great, and you've got a camera over there, so don't go giving me this radio number.
That's my blackmail for you.
Our special guest, we've previewed him already. I spoke to the great Jack Riley, and I said, Jack, what do you remember of Ulysses Kokkinos? And he went, superstar. Marquee. If he had been a marquee today, he'd be running the game. So much would be the headlines and everything else that goes with it. Ulysses, great to have you on board. It's taken us a little while to get you here, but by golly, welcome.
I'm happy to be here, and thanks for the invite, George.
No worries at all. This man has been working behind the scenes to make sure this happens. So, George, why don't you take him back and start this properly? This is the Pioneers, and we always start it with G2 asking that fabulous normal question. What is it?
What is your very first football memory?
By the way, happy birthday for yesterday.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That wasn't the first thing he was thinking of.
No. So what was your very first football memory?
The very first memory is when I was living in Constantinople, and I was 14, and I was training with a team called Beyoğluspor, which a lot of great players come from there, like Lefter Küçükantonias that he played in Fenerbahce. That's I remember I was sleeping with a board underneath my bed. I couldn't sleep because the training was starting at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, which my father was very against it.
What about your mother?
My mother, she followed my passion. She wanted me to do what I wanted to do.
But Dad, or she?
Dad, maybe he saw the further than me, which what am I going to do after when I stop soccer? So
Sure.
which is the truth,
Yeah.
Because I didn't have passion for anything else.
No.
Except the round ball. The soccer. That's it. I sleep. I wake up. I eat football.
24/7.
That's correct.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I loved it.
All right, so your dad was against it, but you pursued it, right?
Yes,
Couldn't
I
help
did.
himself.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're probably going to make a good career there, but life changed big time, right?
Yeah.
As George puts it, in Constantinople. Did I say it right?
Yeah,
George?
yeah.
Thank
Pretty
you.
good.
It's like I'm Greek or something.
It's okay.
So in Constantinople, everything changed.
Yes, it is.
Right.
Yes, it is.
Um,
Overnight.
The politics of the land
politics
changed.
of the land, that's right. But what did that mean to you and your family? What did that actually mean physically to you guys?
Well, it was a very sad moment. I saw my father getting white in a month. Because my father was Greek naturalized, so I was with my family, and we've been extradited, and they confiscated everything we had.
So Dad had his own business, right? Yeah.
My father was a timber merchant,
Yeah.
and very well established.
It was deportation.
Deportation.
In a stylised and very formal fashion. they were basically saying to all the Greek
Naturally.
people of Turkey at the time, look, you can stay here, but you've got to be Turkish, or you can go back to Greece. Or in fact, he was born in Turkey and was given no option. And of course,
Yeah,
it was a very, very difficult time, because those that moved and went back to Greece, they were never considered Greeks by the Greeks. You had the other problem.
Of
You
course.
always see, it's like you and I when we go to Greece, G2. You and I go, they say, Australians.
You Aussies.
Yeah, but we speak Greek. No, you're Australians.
Australian.
Well,
Yeah,
imagine
yeah,
now,
no, I get that.
Ulysses goes there, great name, fabulous Greek name, Ulysses Kokkinos, and everyone's going, no, he's a Turk.
Yeah.
Yes or no?
They was calling us Turkosporos.
That's it. the Turkish.
Can you translate that, please?
Well, yeah, the seed of the Turk, the Turkish seed. How dare he play in our country? You know, so he would have.
No, not play, live.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
That too.
Okay.
Yeah, they weren't very keen to support him. It was a very difficult time. People don't understand it. The world was very, very different. It was coming out of Second World War. There'd been a civil war in Greece, so Greece was in upheaval. And of course, the politics in Turkey was changing at 1,000,000 miles an hour. They were trying to grow, and they decided that nationalism, they wanted to close doors, not open doors.
Yeah.
And Ulysses and his family were right in the middle of that. And like many thousands, were told, bye-bye, addio. Is that right, Ulysses?
And the worst thing to see was, you know, when you see your father, that
Crying?
he never cried.
Hard man.
To lose everything that he did in 50 years for him and his family,
Wow.
to lose it in one night. I mean, no bank books, no money,
no credit cards.
nothing.
Didn't exist.
Just
No
our-
mobile phone.
Let's start again.
not selling houses. We left it all there. You know,
Nick, who's about 20 years of age, can't possibly imagine how difficult it must have been for you. The young man who's running our control panel tonight is one of Football Nation Radio's young broadcasters, Nick Devano. And although we've deprived him of the microphone tonight, but he can use it if he wants to, can you imagine how difficult it must have been for Ulysses and his family? Can you imagine?
Not at all. I think that's incredible. I can't imagine a life without technology. To be honest, it's still what we've grown up with. Is we are so dependent on our phones and our internet.
No money.
No,
They
no
were
money.
frozen. Their bank
Absolutely
assets frozen, gone. They were told, leave.
Your business
bye."
closed,
Yeah.
your bank account's closed, and could you please move on?
I guess it's something
and,
that
and now,
yeah. I guess
not
it's something,
tomorrow. Now.
Yeah, I guess it's something that we, especially now, take for granted. And when you put things into perspective, it's quite unbelievable to say the least.
Okay, so really they were refugees effectively moving into Greece.
Absolutely.
Which takes us on to our next part of the story. As a teenager, not long after, you've had enough. Or there's some wanderlust in you that's just wanting to experience life and not stay in Greece. Clearly Greece and Athens wasn't doing it for you.
I mean, it wasn't doing it because, I mean, all of a sudden, you know, after 14, 15 years, you change countries and
Lifestyles.
lifestyles, and, you know, I was lost, I mean, you know.
How many languages could you speak at the time, Ulysses?
I speak Turkish, well, I forgot a little bit now. I mean,
Yeah.
I can,
But then you would have been fluent. Would have been
Yeah.
honest.
Oh, yeah.
yes,
We
but
should have
I
started
finished the
program
Greek,
by saying Hoş geldiniz.
Koshkelden. Yes, that's
It's all right. We're
You're ticking
just
boxes,
teasing.
aren't you?
No.
Alright. Yeah, if you finish off with debacle or May, I'm packing it in.
Yeah,
so-
beautiful.
Okay, so young fella, you've had enough, really,
Thanks
in a
for the
short time.
compliment.
No, in Greece, I'm
Yeah.
talking about. What makes a 16-year-old boy decide to pack up and jump on a cargo? Well, it wasn't a cargo ship; it was an actual passenger ship, and just whatever, wherever it's going. You could have ended up in South Africa. You could have ended up
Stowaway.
in America. You're a stowaway. What makes you? What was going through your head?
Well, I heard Australia. People was going Australia, Canada, and I heard about South Melbourne.
Okay.
Hellas. I
So
did-
far, huh?
Yeah, I did.
Really?
And I didn't know where Australia was on the map anyway, to be honest. I mean, and I don't know how it happened. I found out that Patris was up at Piraeus.
Wow. So the Greek ship that ferried so many Greeks to Australia, the Patris,
Yeah.
the Chandris line ship.
Candrilla,
Yes.
yes.
So
yes.
you decided you're going to jump on board.
So I had a friend of mine. I said, let's go and see. Let's go to Piraeus.
Oh.
Let's go and see Patris. So, before the ship saltare Bulena,
Yep.
before they go, they used to give us a ticket to go in and
As a visitor.
as a visitor and
Yeah,
come out.
just
But
have a look around.
Yeah, I went in and I said to him,
And you hid
I won't come out, but don't go into my parents
until we leave.
until a month.
Oh, I see.
A month.
uh,
Wanted to make sure he got through the Suez Canal before
Yeah.
they found out.
Yeah, and that's what happened. I stayed there, and when the ship starting to find the way, and he was doing maneuvers, and I thought, no, they find out I'm in the ship, and I was really,
You're
I was so scared. Yeah, yeah, but it wasn't the case. So
How long before they discovered you were on the boat officially?
the boys discovered me pretty quick, actually,
Oh, but they looked the other
and
way.
they thought I was mental.
They thought you were crazy.
Crazy
They was-
16-year-old.
They was giving me food, is that. And anyway, cut it short. I stayed in the cabin. I didn't go anyway.
Whose
And-
cabin?
The boys' cabin, there is
The workers.
6, 7 people, and I'm giving a bed there.
Wow.
And I was getting the tip that they were coming down for inspection.
And you were hiding.
But it was my sleeping time then, because I worked last night. So, yeah.
You kept moving.
Yeah, and I remember when we come to Fremantle, and I said to the boys said to me, we are in Australia now. I said, but they didn't have any money because they were getting paid in Melbourne.
Okay. Oh.
And I said, look, I don't care. We are in Australia? He says, yes, I'm going out. And one of the boys that worked
So you disembarked in Fremantle, even though you're supposed to go to Melbourne.
Melbourne,
At the port of Fremantle now, in the museum, just outside, there's
Yeah.
some walls,
Does it
honour
have a
walls.
photo of Ulysses Kokkinos?
No, well, there's the names of every person who's come in from
Yep.
Europe
Does
listed
it have Ulysses
alphabetically.
name
And,
there?
well, there's a good chance it won't.
We now know why.
There's no category for stowaways.
Oh. So how did you get from Perth with no English? You didn't speak English.
just a little bit.
Oh, you did?
Very little.
Very little.
No
Now
money?
no, yes, maybe.
How about you?
How are you? Oh,
How are you? That works.
That was the favourite word. How did you get to Melbourne?
Well, one of the boys that work in the ship, he had his uncle and auntie living in Fremantle, so they accommodated me well, I was very welcome to stay there, and the boys had, they gave me, I think, £3 altogether.
Wow,
Those
that's
days.
big money. We should add
That's a lot of
£3 in this day and age means very little to us, but the national wage in those days was about £3 to £4 a week.
Yeah.
So that
That's a
was
generous
week's worth-
amount. It's a
that was
generous
that
amount.
was-
It was around there,
Week's
we had
worth.
between £2 and £3.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I slept one night there, and I said to them, "Thank you very much for your,
Hospitality.
hospitality."
Yeah, yeah.
But I want to go to Perth.
Oh, you want to go to Melbourne?
I went to Melbourne, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go to Melbourne. So they took me to the station,
The railway station.
railway station, and I got a ticket. I mean, I couldn't afford sleeping cabin. So
You stood.
normal.
No, you had to sit. You had to
Normal
sit.
sit. Yeah.
So how long did it take? The old trains?
3.5 days.
3.5 days.
And I
Nick
find,
is sitting here thinking 3.5 days in a train, sitting, not possible.
and anybody that is looking at me, I thought, no, Jesus.
Don't
my
ask
heart
me who
was,
I
my
am.
heart was going.
Everyone looked like the police, I bet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hang on,
It-
let's just pause there for a moment. How long did it take you to sail from Athens, from Piraeus, to Fremantle?
31 days.
How many?
31 days.
I was going to say. We neglected to
month.
mention that he hid on the ship with the support of some of the crew
For a
for
month.
31 days.
Yeah.
Oh dear, until Australia,
Yeah.
Perth.
And then he's spent another 3.5 days on a train with paranoia looking at everyone. By this stage, no one was looking for you, let me tell you.
And of course, 31 days now, your father's just been told you've left.
Well, he didn't know what was going on, to be honest. I mean,
No, but you told your friend, don't say anything
Don't
for a
say
month.
nothing.
So
Don't say
now you're in Fremantle,
yes,
and he doesn't know where you are. Correct.
not yet.
Not
yet.
Not yet. But they were just about to find out because I'll tell you why. So anyway, I find myself in Spencer Street.
You arrive in Spencer Street.
Yeah.
Very
And
good.
Now, I had no money. I mean, no uncles, no Xadelphia, nobody.
No
cousins,
support team, yeah. No.
Nothing.
Any luggage?
Nothing.
Nothing. My father arrived with 10 boxes of metric tools. 10 boxes of metric tools for automobiles and trucks. You arrived with nothing.
Nothing.
Didn't even have-
Frank
I think
Lowy arrived with one suitcase.
Well, I
So
didn't have
he
a suitcase.
was ahead of you with a suitcase.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
And I find myself in Lonsdale Street. I don't know how.
It's a great street, Lonsdale.
And I didn't know where I was going. And believe it or not, I didn't even thought where I was going to sleep at night. I mean,
You didn't care. How old were you?
16.
16. And this is Lonsdale Street then, 1950, what was it? How-
60s.
1960.
60.
So Lonsdale Street would have been the Greek
66.
precinct. The Chinese community wouldn't have made the incursions and the acquisitions that they have now. So Lonsdale Street was the
Right place to
was
go.
probably the Oakley Mall of Melbourne in the 60s.
I didn't know that. I just took London Street from Spencer Street and I was going down. And when I kept, now that I know, to Ligo Street, London Street and Rasa Street,
Yep.
I saw Estiatorio, good restaurant.
And some great
and
names.
I was
Hungry.
You were
really
home.
hungry, really hungry.
He was hungry.
and I looked the
Menu.
The menu.
menu from outside, koto soup, chicken soup.
Chicken soup.
Here I am.
And of course, this is
How
the
much?
real chicken soup. This is not chicken noodle. This is the real deal.
Yeah. So
This is
I went
the
in,
stuff that Andromachi, his grandmother, makes.
Yep.
By the way, Italian Greek boy, huh? And his grandmother, just about the best cook on the planet, other than my mother and George's
And my mother.
and your mother. And chicken soup, kotosupa, wow, avgolemono, even
Please,
better.
Please.
Still, I'm trying to make sense of this because a 16-year-old boy has come halfway around the world, stowed away on a vessel for 31 days, caught a train for another 4 days,
Yeah,
got no money,
yeah. And sorry,
just to come to Melbourne and have some chicken soup. It's a
we
long
said-
way to come.
We said our special guest on the Pioneers in 2018, this particular week on Football Nation Radio, is Ulysses Kokkinos.
Odysseus. All right, let's talk
Odysseus
about was this chicken
Red.
soup worth the 35-day trip? Was it that good?
Well, I was hungry. It was good.
It was very good. When you're hungry, anything.
It was
No,
good. It was good.
All right, now the most important part of this story, this is where your life changes effectively. You have come halfway around the world, the serious part of this story. And you are a teenager,
Yep.
away from home with no money, no job, no relatives and no friends. I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah. And after that day, after that night, I really believe that there is angels up there that they're looking after you. There is. And,
Why is that?
well, the angel came and rescued me, believe it or not.
So, what did the angel look like? Does the angel have a name?
Like an angel.
Does it
no
have
names,
a name?
no names, no package.
No names, no pactor. All right.
Yeah, but
Okay.
let's
How do you get
elaborate.
How do you get to the football ground?
Yeah, my angel was happened to be in that restaurant, and she walked over to me, and he said, "Hi." She said, "You look very scary." I said, "No, I'm not." I said, "Jesus, what's going on here?" He said, "Where do you come from?" I said, "From Sydney." I said, no, you didn't." And he said, "Look, just follow me. What we'll do from here, and we'll talk about it." I did.
Okay, so it was an older woman who came from a very good family.
Yeah.
Who did notice, like you said, that you were lost. She knew straight away.
She
All right. And it's difficult for you to tell a story. I get that. So I'm going to help, right, a little bit. She took you under her wing. She took you back and found you some accommodation.
Yeah, she took me home first.
Yeah.
She made me plenty to eat.
Yeah, you were starving.
And,
All right. So this chicken soup was only the starter.
But nothing else was involved. People think
No, of course
different
not.
way.
That's
It was not. It was absolutely.
Platonic.
I mean, the lady was a.
Yes, she was an
Her
angel.
father was a priest.
Yeah.
In Cairo.
Yeah, no
yeah,
problem.
yeah. Fantastic.
All
So
right.
she was an angel.
So she helped you get
She
on
was
your
an
feet.
angel.
Right?
And she went. I couldn't stay in her place, obviously.
Yeah.
And remember Drama Street? They were renting a rooms those days.
Yes,
With a little
lodgings.
kitchen
You
and
did. Yeah,
toilet,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And she supported you.
She did there. She paid for 3 weeks.
Wow.
And I was keep on telling her, listen, I can't stay here. You know, take me to the. He said, just relax. So he took me to Myers, bought me some socks, underwear.
Wow.
I mean, that's the truth.
So what time of the year did you come? Summertime or winter time?
Oh, I came, and
I'm trying to work
October,
out if you
November,
were freezing
October,
or if
November.
you were warm and enjoying the weather.
no, it was good actually.
The weather.
weather
So it must have been summertime.
Wasn't bad, and I remember she was working on spastic children in Carlton,
Uh-huh.
and I remember I was going there nearly every afternoon. I was playing with the kids until one day the manager came downstairs and we met actually, and he said, Ulysses, I want you to stop coming here.
Uh-huh.
Not because we don't want you. I mean, you're making these little boys so happy,
Yeah.
and the more you stay, the more happy they're going to be after when you leave. So,
Gotcha.
and yeah, that's what I did, and I left from there, and my angel decided to take me to George Papadopoulos, if you remember, next to George Rallis.
Yeah.
It was
So this is in Lonsdale Street.
it was selling shoes. You remember?
Yeah, yeah, great shoes.
Next to Hermes Travel Agency.
Yeah, yeah, the travel company that does and has been in business for years in Lonsdale Street.
So he left me there, and she left, and I stayed with George, and George said to me, you know, Mikey,
Yep.
you kick the soccer, do you?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, a little bit.
You play football, eh?
Yeah. I said, okay, you got any shoes over here? He said,
No.
No. so he took me to Middle Park, and they had a. When I went to the Middle Park, I mean, I couldn't find any shoes, you know. But I wear anything that I find in front of me, you know, just to go out and kick the ball. But when I went to the training, you know, all Middle Park football ground, you know, where we were training, I saw they had 2,000 people. And I said to George, is it a game tonight? He says, no, it's a training. I just freaked out.
Thousands of people at training.
I mean, over 1,500 people in Middle Park. And that's the truth. Anyway, after a while, I got a ball and I started playing. I forgot myself. And
You expressed
I
yourself.
looked around, and everybody was around
watching.
me. Was watching.
Yeah.
And I heard George saying, I brought him here. It's mine.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Early version of an agent
Yeah.
/ commission.
So how long before you actually played football for South Melbourne?
After 8 months, 7 months, because it was off period.
Uh-huh. It
And
was
I
the off
remember
season.
John Anderson, God bless you wherever you are, man. He says to me on Thursday, the last training, I want you on Wednesday or Thursday, I want you Saturday to Olympic Park. I'm going to give you a go.
Wow.
I didn't sleep till then. I don't know which team we were playing, was Just Cross. Again, first game, I'm not sure. I remember I scored 2 goals. I don't know how.
That would have been enough to make an impression.
Yeah, that started my, if you like, my career.
Ulysses, what position did you play when you started? Did you play anywhere?
I played exactly. I mean, we take Lou Brocic, okay, one of the big profile coaches that we had.
Yep.
He didn't tell me where to play.
You just fit it in.
He just
Read the ball.
You do, yeah, exactly. But I was blessed. I had legends. I had superstars that I played with, you know, and I owe most of them, and to people that they opened the arms and they took me in, you know.
So huge debt. Huh?
Big time, and it's very hard to describe.
So when you got to South Melbourne and you're just starting, who was the big cigar before you? Who was the big man?
I mean, you name it. I mean, we had players, Johnny Bedford, Eniakis, Pirgolios, Jim Pirgolios, Mandarakis, Roussos.
Pirgolios was the goalkeeper, wasn't he?
No, Pirgolios was the midfielder.
Oh, the midfielder.
One of the,
Huh?
and he won premiership
mate.
with South Melbourne.
Ah, okay.
Jimmy Pirgolios, Mandarakis.
Who was the goalkeeper then? Just Dermatovilagas. Who was it? See, I knew I'd upset you.
Yeah.
You never played that far back. You were
No.
always up the front.
That's correct.
Yeah.
One of my old presidents.
Chichos.
Okay.
I was going to say one of my old presidents at Western Suburbs, Kayoglu Sam.
Kayoglu, yeah.
Went through there at some stage, but
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Lovely guy.
Who was was Marmaras was the president? of the
Mama
club?
was the president.
And what did he think when he met Ulysses Kokkinos?
Well, he wanted to sign me straight away. And,
Uh-huh.
they gave me, I don't know, £3,000.
£3,000.
I'm not sure, but around it, £3,000.
signing on fee.
And
£3,000, George.
I remember.
This is the man who only had £3 to get from Fremantle to Melbourne. Yeah.
Say it.
So, best of.
Redcliffe,
Yes.
who's there? Patalefteris.
Ah, yes.
He was a real estate agent.
I'll get out.
So we went to the bank, we put the money in, so we could go to Caulfield and get some houses and rent it out, and you know, because they want me to stay here, obviously.
Wow.
I went next day and paid some money to the check to be cleared quickly.
Yeah.
I remember.
You needed to spend the money, did you?
Yeah, I went.
The old fast track the check.
Yeah.
Pay the extra.
They did that in 1960, didn't they?
Yeah. I think they still did it in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went and I bought a MGB Overdrive Mark II.
You could drive then, could you?
Yes. I could have done anything.
Right. You could have done anything.
If you've got £3,000 as a 16 or a 17-year-old and you play football
Gee.
and you can afford it, you're getting an MG, aren't you?
Yeah, MG.
Don't worry about houses in
MGB
Caulfield.
Overdrive Mark II.
Mate, a Mark II with the overdrive, which means the extra gear so that you can cruise on those roads without congestion, without radar.
Around Audie Drive near Middle Park on the old track there.
Okay, what colour was the...
Red.
Of course, Kokkinos.
Do they make them in
Of
any
course.
other colour?
Yeah, no. We should explain that Kokkinos means red.
Okay.
All right, so it was
should
true
also
to his name.
We should also warn any teenagers that getting on a boat for 31 days in a train
It's
does
not recommended.
It does not guarantee you an MG at the end of that little trip.
Yeah,
Not
exactly,
always, anyway.
Exactly. And by the way, over the next 30 minutes, whatever we tell you, please don't try it at home. Please don't try it at home, George.
No, not
Okay.
at all.
No. You have to only listen. Don't have to follow.
No.
No.
He's a 20-year-old man. What advice would you give him?
Follow your dreams.
Well, there you go. Follow your dreams.
I definitely will. Thank
Follow
you.
your dreams.
Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
Ulysses, George says you've spent your money now. It means you have to play some more football.
Yeah, I did.
Did you enjoy it?
Absolutely.
Were you finally home? Was this home for you, or not? Or was it never home?
It was home.
It was home.
I mean, South Melbourne was home.
When did your parents find out what you were doing?
I went to the
Neos
my father-
Cosmos probably
my
wrote the
family was
article.
my family was very very good family and church people. So I started going to Sunayani, you know, in Carlton.
Yes.
And
St. John's.
they said, Partha Cortez wants to see you. So I went, I had hair like this, so he put me down, he cut my hair first.
Of course. Makes you
And
run
then
faster.
and then he said, you know, your parents are looking for you. It was on the radio.
Uh-huh.
So they put it in the radio that it's in Australia. That, yeah, That's how.
Can anyone spot the guy with the afro juggling the ball and arriving to
Did the
the
Greek
MG?
newspapers in those days write a story, and they read it in Greece, that Ulysses Kokkinos,
No, it didn't come out yet.
Okay.
That I was.
that came later,
Yeah.
did it?
Yeah.
Okay,
I come later.
all right, okay. So you're playing with South Melbourne, the season has started. Can you remember who you played first with South Melbourne?
Night competition, Ample Cup,
Ampol Cup,
Yeah.
who did you play? You must say.
just cross.
George Cross.
What were the
You scored
crowds
2
like? What were
goals.
the crowds like?
He was packed.
What were those crowds like?
17,000.
This is the Old Middle Park.
No,
Olympic
Oh,
Park.
Olympic
Olympic
Park,
Park,
sorry,
yeah.
17,000
Ampol
Olympic Park.
Park, yeah.
That's a really good turnout.
50,000. They were coming down from Elizabeth Street or with, drums
explain,
and.
we should explain, and this is key here. We're talking about the middle of the 60s, when the Greeks had been given assisted passage by the federal government of the day, and they were coming in numbers that were in their thousands, many thousands. The Italian community had seen a great many migrants come to Australia from the 50s, and this would have culminated in some fantastic challenges between the Italian community and the Greek community.
And the Maltese community.
And the Maltese community. And I can imagine when George Cross was playing South Melbourne, it was on for young and old.
Yeah, George Cross were a powerhouse too in those days. as
It
well.
was
Some
They were
great players.
Very,
Some
very strong sides.
Who were the players that impressed you at that time for George Cross? You must say.
I mean, not just cross. I mean, all over. I mean, was Mitic, was Wojtek, was Jack Raleigh, was a lot. I mean, who? Barron Brothers. I mean, you name it. I mean, it was superstars.
Did you understand how lucky you were in some respects, that you had fallen on your feet and you could play a game that made you fit in at the other end of the world?
As I said, I mean, to do that job, George, I mean, my passion, it was that, I didn't know nothing else. I mean, nobody showed me how to play soccer when I was young, or to pick the ball, or to do nothing. I mean,
You just
I just,
You just did it.
I suppose I had it in me.
Yeah.
There was a passion, and
like-
it was his way of expressing. It was an artist, right? Yeah, he was
Yeah,
an
yeah.
artist,
Yeah, yeah.
and he was painting pictures with his feet and his head, for that matter,
Yeah. Instinctive.
and putting bums on seats.
Very much so.
Yeah. Okay.
In their thousands.
Yes.
And the thing is, those, in my playing career, those days when I was playing, I mean, most of the, 98% of the players, doesn't matter, Juventus, Just Cross, or Bonnie, other players,
He was a
I
Hungarian,
think they're
wasn't he?
born with a gift. And I think you have to have a gift. You have to born with a gift,
Something special.
And thank you, Father. And
It made a
I
difference.
was very confident that I can do that.
And you did.
Yeah.
Wasn't lacking confidence.
No.
Wasn't lacking any money in the bank account. I've recalled, and we've discussed.
No, money
this in the
wasn't-
past.
money-
wasn't an issue for you, but you were getting paid some ridiculous money in the early '70s, something like $1,000 or $1,100 a week.
Yeah.
Right.
A week.
A week. Right.
Then.
Right.
Ouch.
So anyone with a bit of finance, if Jack was here, Jack Riley was still in here, we'd just fallen off his chair because he
Well,
knows money.
I'll give you a clue. My first job on radio, 100 years ago now, I was earning $110 a week. So if he's earning 1,000 in around about the same time, just think about it.
I was getting a check only from Channel 7 when
Freddie Villiers was on.
Fred
board.
Villiers was
Yeah.
what, $150 a check every, for half an hour. I mean, it was.
150. There you go.
So he was
ahead of me
He
already.
was ahead of everyone, and this is part of not so much the money, the fame that came. But Freddie was a huge fan of yours.
Absolutely.
And you're good friends, and we won't go into that because I know it's going to upset you. But what I do want to speak about is what you mentioned about the Greek community at the time,
Yep.
and how important the immigration was, and the numbers that came through,
Yeah.
and what part that played in politics, right? So this man was lured, and I say lured, by the premier at the time, or the premier and the party, the political party, to hang out with his kids and to be seen at all the right parties Is that right?
Yeah.
You were asked to be a part of this new entourage and go to all the right places and be seen to lure votes.
Ah, okay.
Is that right? So who was the Premier at the time?
Not Henry Bolte.
No, actually, it was Prime Minister was Guidovas Kumbaros.
So who was the okay.
Whitlam.
Oh, Gough Whitlam.
Yes.
See, smart cookie. Gough Whitlam was not only a giant.
I fly with him to Sydney to see the George Donikian fighting.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That explains everything. Gough Whitlam was one of the rare politicians of his day that not only stood 7 foot tall, but also thought big, and he understood what the power of attraction was all about. And yeah, so he had you in there supporting them from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Good Labor boy.
Well, that's lucky, I suppose.
It must have been the red or Kokkinos, you know.
No, I was blessed. I mean, George, I couldn't mind it on my own without the players that I play with. I mean, all the credit goes to them. And the biggest part was the people that, I mean, I felt so much love. It was unbelievable.
Now, now let me get this right. You enjoyed your time. You got a lot of love in the game, but did you also spend a lot of nights enjoying yourself and not sleeping 8-9 hours that you needed to get ready? There were famous games. I hear that you came in the morning and said, "I'm ready to play," and they went, "Hang on, have you been to sleep yet?" And you went, "No."
No, that's.
How did you do that?
That's rumors. That's rumors.
Oh, the rumours. So that's not true.
I mean, that's rumors. I mean, yes, I had late nights. Yes, I mean, I went to Bazooka. I mean, if I say no, it's a lie. That's my past, and that's my past, and nobody can change it. I mean, I'm not going to try to be a good.
No, I'm not saying that for 1 minute. I'm just trying to give people an idea that you lived your life, you played your football with
Passion.
full passion,
Yeah.
but you didn't take any shortcuts. You
lived a
you
full
did
life.
everything.
Yeah.
Kitapanda.
I did.
Wow,
I did.
that's amazing. Did it all.
And more importantly,
And I've got no regrets.
That's
No regrets.
There's
That's
no
even better.
regrets.
I've got no regrets.
That's the constant theme. You had a run-in. You went back to Greece after starring at South Melbourne, and to Panathinaikos, who in the early 70s, 73, 74, just missed out on the old European Cup.
Huge
71.
side.
71.
71.
It was
Huge
a
side.
big
Panathinaikos.
Champions League.
Okay, so was our good friend Ferenc Puskas, he was in charge at the time or not?
After Petropoulos, yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, Ferenc Puskas took. He was a coach in 71 when we went to Champions League. But who brought us there? We have to tell the truth. It was like Petropoulos.
Okay. Fantastic.
So-
Great characters.
So was it
Look
Puskas?
like you, good-looking man, white hair.
Would the attraction to bring you from Australia, did that appeal to Panathinaikos at the time? Or did you want to do it? Did they want to do it, or did you want to do
No,
it?
actually, Nestoridis come along.
Nestoridis, who came and played here as a guest player.
Yes,
So he went there.
and
on
he's another
recommendation.
one after Pater Cortesis. He also cut my hair in the dressing room. You know that.
Right. Tell me about Nestoridis. They say he was spectacular.
Great player.
Huh?
Great player. I mean, yeah,
Is
great
it-
player.
Is it
How
true?
would you rate him today? Is there anyone that resembles Nestoridis today?
No.
Unique.
Unique.
Did he used to score direct from corners? Is that true?
Yes, especially with Wilhelmina. I mean, 2 goals, one after the other.
Is that right?
Yes. And I remember one day we were playing with JUST in Olympic Park, and it was a rainy day. And I was on the right wing with the ball, and I was just about to cross the ball. But my left foot slipped, and the ball, my right foot, the outside of my foot took the ball.
Yep.
And instead of going, as a crossover,
Yep.
he turned the ball and went to the to
So
the
it
net.
swerved instead of in hooking.
And I went to the student and says, "Have you scored a goal like this?" And he said, "Out." John, this is
So you meant a cross and you actually scored a goal.
I mean, because I slept and the ball finds my outside of the foot, and if the ball wants you, I mean, you can do miracles.
These boys do that all the time. Every other week they do a miracle. They don't know it's a miracle, but you did it regularly. Yes.
Yeah, it was. It became. I used to. You know.
What was it like having Nestoridis in the team and hearing the crowd? Can you hear the crowds when you're playing, or do you not hear the game?
Nah, no.
You hear nothing?
You don't. You don't. I mean,
It's
I
exciting.
mean, some people they say. I mean, some players. I mean, they say he's a young man, you know, and it's a big crowd. And
You get
when
excited.
I saw the more crowd there were, and the more I was getting, you know, I was flying.
You were flying. So
I mean-
the bigger the crowds, the better your
There you go.
performance.
Show-
You're a
for
natural
shame.
performer. He's a
Yeah, for
showman.
shame,
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
course.
Well, you've got to be. I mean, you're a soccer player. I mean,
It's an
you
entertainment
play
business.
entertainment.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, you've got a lot of people there, you know. And I remember, soon I was touching the ball, 10,000 people going up. I mean, you know, it was.
That's an adrenaline rush, isn't
I
it?
mean, drilling. I mean, wow. Yeah.
I just want to take you back to Panathinaikos.
Yeah.
Right. This is a great opportunity for you, right? They've taken you. Effectively now you're an Australian soccer player. They've not really seen you play. So they take you back. And they take you on a pre-season tour and
Every,
whatever. You want to play up front. And the coach decides that he thinks because of your speed and your skill, you'll make a terrific wing back. Running
Left.
up and down, up and down, up and down.
left full back.
Yeah. And?
I said no. And he put me in some friendly games
Yeah.
with Paniones. I remember particularly one.
Yeah.
I went down and I never come up. And the goalkeeper, Constantino, you know, "Ema piso turco."
You know, but said, "Come back here, Turk."
Yeah.
Come back.
No.
I didn't because I wasn't enjoying it. You know, I'm enjoying to score goals, not to play football. You know, full back. And
So then what were the options they gave you?
well, he said to me, I mean, you play Smith national team. I still didn't.
So they gave him the option to play for the national team, but it didn't faze him too much.
And you know when you go before preseason, you know, for training, and you know when you play on season, you know, you got teammate with beautiful suite in the hotels, the best hotels, you know, the best food and all. And Constantino was telling me, "Where are you going, man? You know where you are?" I said, "Where am I?" He said, "But I've never people they pay money to play in this team." I said, "You know where I am? In Australia. I am with South Mabuhala. I get more money than you. There is 25,000 people that allow me there, and I'm playing with some superstars, and I'm scoring goals every week. I mean, and I don't have to sleep 7 days in a hotel. I mean, I'm not going to be 21 again." I said, "You know, I want to live my 21, 22. You know."
And
they
you
thought
did.
they thought I was crazy.
Well, you were crazy. But you came home. You came back to South Melbourne.
I come back.
Yeah.
I come back. I come back when the late President Sam Papasavas was a
Oh,
president.
Sam,
And,
yeah. Sam understood what
and
talent was all about.
And Nick Camberopoulos is a lovely guy. His brother was top player, Bully Camberopoulos. He played for Olympiacos, in the under-18s. I mean, we had great players. You don't see players like this around. I mean, unfortunately, I have to say that.
Why? Are they too disciplined? Are the coaches asking them to play a particular way and you lose the
No,
magic?
man, they had it in them. I mean, take Annie Akely. He used to give me a ball 70 yards, and I would find the ball, me running in front of me. I mean,
So the ball would be landing on a spot.
absolutely. I mean, and
Do you get excited when you see people like young Daniel Lazani last year when he was playing? Was that
absolutely.
like you?
absolutely. I mean, when I saw him taking a player, which they've done now, I mean,
Yeah.
they're saying central forwards 800,000, all this. I mean, I never seen one-on-one take them. I mean, this young boy come in,
Yeah.
and he took 2 players. I mean, and I was very upset that he didn't put him the whole game.
He didn't have, he's still not fit enough. I can't explain this to you, Ulysses. By the way, we're talking to Ulysses Kokkinos on the Pioneers, G1 and G2. Not only are we filling in the spots, but we're mesmerised because Ulysses' story is richer than the book and richer than anyone can imagine.
It's a great story.
It's an amazing story, and if you've just joined us, young man whose family was forced out of Turkey in the very difficult time in the history of Europe at the time, as Turkey and Greece were exchanging residents, I suppose. It was part of the replacement program, part of there's a particular word that I can't find at the moment, but it was a government policy, and that young man then had to find his way in the world. He decided that that way in the world was the other end of the world, Australia, and he stowed away, ended up in Fremantle, and jumped off the Patris, the liner that brought so many Greeks to Australia, and found his way by train to Melbourne, where he then ended up at Middle Park somehow with the help of some angels. And now he's back in Greece, telling them that this is how things are. It's an amazing story.
It's a great story. Now, I want to mention a couple of your teammates. One that not too many people know was a teammate. You crossed over to Heidelberg a couple times, to the enemy of South Melbourne. But you loved it at Heidelberg as well, let me tell you. But one of the transfers back cost South Melbourne a young player.
Andy Bazzikas.
Yeah. As part of South Melbourne getting you back
From
Heidelberg, or Fitzroy at the time, was to trade off Andy Bazzikas. Now, tell me what your memories of that particular time was.
Well, I said to John, I said, don't sell this player. If I can score more goals with him. I said, listen, I don't care about this player, that player. I want a premiership, and I want you. That's it. So don't worry about that. I take care who's going to play, who's going to give you the balls, and all this. And yeah, I was really sad.
Yeah, he was a young teenager, and
he was great talent.
He was a great talent, and he was a state representative, and then obviously had a tremendous career with Heidelberg, Fitzroy and Heidelberg. But he went the other way, which is an amazing thing about sliding doors. But I also want to talk to you about one of your other favourite players who you partnered up front with, Jimmy Armstrong. The great Jimmy Armstrong. Tell us about your partnership with him and how you may have played a part in getting him.
Well, Jimmy, I remember I was working at George Donikian, and they asked me, what do you think? I said, what do I think? By Jimmy Armstrong. He said, well, go centre forward. I said, doesn't matter. I mean, if I don't score, he will score. I mean, I've got 3 players all the time, but with Jimmy Armstrong, we share this.
Yeah, so, you could lay the ball off and Jimmy would finish it off.
And that's what happened.
But he started off his life as a fullback.
As a centre back.
As a centre back?
Yeah, he did. And he scored some spectacular goals. I mean, great teammate. I mean, we had so much understanding. It was with eyes closed, we knew where we were.
You had almost a second sense. You knew where Jimmy was going to run. And he also knew what you were likely to do.
Absolutely.
And that's really rare because you didn't know what you were going to do.
Well, nobody knew. I mean, that comes to you.
Correct.
You never. I mean, soccer is not. Situation changes every second.
That's right.
You have to bond with it.
By instinct.
And what made my game much easier, it was the opposition didn't know when I was going to score. So it was much easier for me to do what I wanted to do. Those days.
Yeah, well, that makes it very special.
But as I said, I mean, all the credits to the players that I play with. I mean,
who are some of the opponents, defenders that maybe not too many would have given
Kriaris.
Yes, Jimmy Kriaris.
Yes.
He was at Fitzroy and then later at Just.
Yes.
What do you remember about playing against him?
Did he kick you?
Xanthopoulos, he said, I'm going to break your leg.
Which
By the time he
Xanthopoulos
broke my leg, I've scored already the
was
goal.
this Takis, was it?
Takis.
Yes, he's a bit chirpy. He
Takis.
doesn't mind a bit of a chat.
football.
Going to break your
But
leg.
how good was Jim Kriaris as a player?
It was tough opponent to pass. Micic plays like this, and the list goes on.
It was a different game because the referees played differently, didn't they? The referees had a different handle of the game, unlike today. They understood the game, I think.
Absolutely. Everything was different. I mean, it's pity to say that, but it's like this. I mean, Pele and Ronaldo and Messi, they don't come every year, do they?
No.
Exactly. Well, I was
That
lucky.
period.
That era.
Yeah, it was a special time.
It was a special time. It was. I mean,
George and
special
I
things, special
have been doing the Pioneers now for nearly 10 months, and the thing we keep finding out with every guest we have is just how many fabulous players we had that came from all over the world, whether they were from Scotland, from Ireland, whether they were from Hungary, whether they're from Croatia, or as it was in those days, Yugoslavia. And Jakubanovic sat there last week and told us some great stories. And he did like you. He went from Australia back to Europe. In his case, he went and played in the English football leagues, which were pretty tough. But he always felt that he was good enough to play. You were also, I think, knew that.
Well,
you were
I
good enough
trained
to
with
play.
Arsenal in 72.
What was it like at Arsenal in those days?
And I met Charlie George and Kennedy, and you have to have Commonwealth passport to stay to play.
And you did.
And I didn't have
Oh,
Commonwealth
you
passport.
did?
No.
Because of Turkey?
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
what happened was even Greek passport.
Of course,
You know.
you were stateless in
So
some respects.
Bertie was a manager then, I remember very well, and he wanted to send me to Scotland. And he
To Scotland.
Scotland to stay there
Kokkinos,
1 year, and then come back.
Ah.
To
So-
lend me there.
yeah, yeah.
And then,
It wasn't going to
it's
work.
my luck. It's Charlie George, and he says, you can't. You're a good player. You won't survive in Scotland. They're very tough
They'll
players.
hack
They're
you.
raining.
He talked you out of it, did he?
Yeah. And he said that Kennedy was coming out
Where were you when he talked you out of it?
in London.
Yeah, no, where in London? Were you in a bar?
Turkish baths.
Turkish
baths.
baths.
Yeah, of course.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you felt at home in a Turkish
Yeah, it's
bath.
relaxing. It's
Yeah.
part of the
Yeah,
recovery.
yeah. Love it. I love it. I mean, this story just gets better and better and better.
Part of this story.
Well, I didn't. Sorry,
No,
I don't have. The only thing I didn't have was politics. I mean, I remember when I come back from Panathinaikos, Nika Brobel come pick me up, went to the office, 7 hours, and I remember said to me that you're going to get
This much money.
this much money now, this much money next month, and I turned back and I said, I'm not a lie-by, son.
Oh, you're not allowed. I want it now.
And I went down, and the committee of Alexander was waiting. So I went,
So you
The
played
reality
one
was-
committee off the other, did you?
yeah. So I went, and I remember the council of the Greek councillor, Papadopoulos.
Yes, yes.
He asked me to go to his office, and he says, "What are you doing?" I said, "What do you want? What do you mean? What?" And he says, "There's only one club. The hell, what are you doing?" I said, "What do you mean one Greek club? I mean, Alexander. I mean, my
Yeah.
nephew is Alexander. What's the matter
Yeah,
with you?"
exactly.
I mean, I don't have politics. For me,
No,
Alexander
you were
is
just
Alexander.
happy to play.
I'm happy to play. I'm a professional player, and nothing will change my mind.
The best price.
It doesn't do
We'll
lay-bys.
change your mind.
You don't pay for superstars in instalments.
You don't lay by, that's right.
Not superstars. Part of this story is
They give me about $150 a week then.
Wow.
that's good. You and your dad did reconcile and fix it all up eventually. Is that right?
Your father came to Australia, or you went back to Greece to catch up with Dad?
Well, in Panathinaikos, I catch up.
Ah, you caught
Yeah.
up with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And you
And he
found-
forgave you?
Yeah.
That was the most unconvincing yes we've had on the
Yeah,
40
correct.
shows of the
Absolutely.
Pioneers. All right. There's an
Yeah,
opportunity.
well, I didn't make him so happy, believe it or not. I mean, after so much money I took from Panathinaikos, I know fear and all this, which I could have bought 5, 6, 7 apartments. After 2 years, he lent me the money to come back.
All right, so
That's
you
right.
spent all the
I
money.
mean, that's
did
the
you?
truth.
Mm.
I give him some.
You give him some.
Yeah.
That's good.
Here's an opportunity
That's
to
good.
say hello to your 2 boys anyway.
Yes,
You've
I've
got
got
two sons?
two
What
beautiful
their
sons.
names?
Yeah. Yanis and Yanis.
Yanis and Yanis. All right, that's cool.
Well,
And
yeah.
one's in Perth,
One is in
and
Melbourne.
one is in Melbourne.
Yes.
And hopefully they're listening, so we say hello to them. And you want to say hello to your good female friend, your partner?
His other angel.
Your current
My
angel.
angel, you mean.
Yeah.
God bless her.
All right, very good.
We've done really well. We've navigated as much traffic as we could in very congested settings, but we're getting there. We're almost through the hour.
Yeah, and-
Almost time to go.
Well, the movie will start from this point. This will be a great movie. It's all right.
No.
We're all good.
I'll let you wrap it up.
All right. It's taken 40 weeks to get my friend here. We finally got him here, and it's been a pleasure to talk to you. I love your story. I'm gonna always want to make sure that it gets put out there
And told.
and told properly, and told by you. And I love your passion for football and passion for life. And long may it continue. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you. I want to say one thing.
Absolutely.
People, Jericho, whatever you are, thank you for your words.
We've had
George Best,
Theo Solomidis.
George Best, Australian soccer and all this.
Theo Solomidis, another one who said there's only one Ulysses Kokkinos.
Yeah, that's what I want to say. I'm not George Best, I'm not Ronaldo, I'm not this. I'm Ulysses Kokkinos, and I leave people to judge me on the soccer field.
Yeah.
How good or how bad I was.
Well, that's right, because this is a soccer show, and that's how we're going to judge you.
That's
Yeah.
exactly
And
right.
let me just say, for those of you that can remember, and for those that had the rare pleasure to see you deliver, it was a 10 out of 10.
But what I want to say, George, before I forgot, can you imagine when you were present at play? We missed that. Can you imagine if that was?
It would have been special. It would have been special.
It could have been-
I would have enjoyed the PR.
I remember you were dressing, and I remember I was saying, Tisakakira.
I know. You like my wardrobe. We'll talk about that too. Thank you very much. Let's hope we do it again.
Thank you, Nick, George. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.
I really enjoyed it.
Ulysses Kokkinos.
Thank you.
Well done.
Bravo.
Good boy.
Well done,
It was
Capitano.
easy.
Thank you, man.
See how easy and how hard it is? See how easy it is, eh?
Nick,
Thank you.
Now you imagine. You imagine.
FNR, Football Nation Radio.
Gutierrez, no call! Score!
Salamidis for Cole. Cole on the run. Shoots. 2-0.
Lazanovsky with the free kick. Launches a rocket! Trimboli, what vision! Bath blasts. Yes, that's it!
Miljevic.
Beautiful ball! Here's Bozanic. They might have won it!
The Pioneers with George Donikian and George Kotzanis on FNR, Football Nation Radio.